This episode is proudly supported by Pepe Sayer Australian Cultured Butter, batch churned from single origin cream.
Like any good product, you have to start off with an amazing cream. Like for us, it's the raw material that matters. So where we get our cream from matters a lot. So we can't just buy your average supermarket grade cream. So you need real cream. You need basically the stuff they skim off the top of milk at a farm. And to get that product, we have to go to the farmers direct. So for us, we have to source our cream very carefully. We travel a lot to different farms to make sure that the cream we're getting is the real deal from different areas of Australia.
For more information, go to pepesayer.com.au.
I'm feeling really positive. I do have my moments of doubting myself, but that is just my nature. And I'm obviously doing it solo, so I don't have a business partner, and it's sort of just everything's just running through me. So I've got some really great friends that I can bounce off. So that's been a really big help. And, especially when I'm feeling a little bit like overwhelmed.
This is part 2 in a special series following the journey of chef and restaurateur Martin Boetz as he works towards opening ShortGrain, an Asian food store, providor and eatery in Brisbane. Martin Boetz is a leading Australian chef, a master of contemporary Thai food with a unique vision and energy. Perhaps best known for his 14 years at Longgrain, first in Sydney and then also in Melbourne, Marty's last venture was the Cook's Shed on the Hawkesbury, a produce-driven eatery and function centre which he ran for a decade. In our first episode, Marty outlined the vision. ShortGrain will be a self-funded eatery and food store in a landmark heritage building in his old hometown. Let's see where he's at 12 weeks from pressing go.
Yeah, so this week I'm actually sitting in a kitchen appliance or a kitchenware showroom at the moment, looking at combi ovens and looking at a pressure cooker. That is actually a brat pan. So thinking about production in putting things into, Tetra Packs and selling them on the shop side of ShortGrain. And so I've just been demoed it's like a brat pan, which is a large stock pot, but it also does pressure cooking. So you can cook 10 kilos of meat in 20 minutes. Which is pretty amazing. So, with pork hocks and braised briskets and things like that can be done super quickly as opposed to overnight braising, which I would have done previously and done it in a combi oven. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm pretty impressed by that. So it's not a cheap item. They're about $35,000, but then on the other side of that, it's more energy efficient and it's also less labor intensive. So how do you weigh that up? So that's a question that I've really got to ask myself. But I think the answer is pretty obvious. They have them in stock, so it's not as if I need to pre-order, but it's something that I really need to think about, and I need to get my full kitchen properly costed with that included in it now. So that's something that I'll probably be able to talk about next time, because I'm still sort of wondering about all the other things that I need in the kitchen to be a production kitchen and an eatery or restaurant kitchen. The logo was done, so now I'm just getting the logo put onto like the bottled products, for chili jams and yellow bean soy dressing and curry Tetra Packs and things like that. So just organising how that will look. And aprons and tote bags and sort of things like that. So I have imagery for that. So that is something that is on the table that I need to make a decision on. And they look amazing, and I'm really happy. Vince Frost is doing the design for me from Frost Collective, so I'm really grateful to him for helping me out with this project. And he's into it because he was one of most regular customers at ShortGrain when we were still when it was still at Surrey Hills.
It would be a rare restaurant where the initial design is rolled out unchanged. Marty talks about his realisation that something fundamental about ShortGrain needed to shift.
This week, I've actually changed the way that I wanted the dining room to be laid out. And that was, I was going to do 3 communal dining tables and then have smaller tables in between in one section. And sort of, I've just decided not to do that and remove the communal dining tables altogether and just do small tables because they're easier to manipulate into larger or add another chair or make them into a 6 or make them into an 8, rather than if I had communal dining tables, then if I had a table of 8, would a table of 2 really want to sit next to a rowdy table of 8 on one? And they're not as big as previously at Locke, so I really had to consider that. And the dining room's not huge, and I don't want to be turning people away. It was a lightning bolt in an afternoon. I just decided not to do it. I think when was it? On Monday, I think I had that lightning bolt. I just said no, I can't do that, and I rang the architect straight away and the designer Chen, and I just said, look, this is what I'm thinking, and then 2 other people said, oh, we're so glad that you decided that because we were worried about the communal dining situation. And I thought to myself, well, why didn't you say anything? Anyway, so I've come to that conclusion and I think I've made the right decision. So now I had the tables and chairs sort of earmarked, but now I've got to change that and find a new table and a new chair because the chairs that I had originally picked out a little bit too heavy for just singular smaller tables. So I found a finer chair and a finer table from the same company, which are coming out of Denmark, and it's a really new product. And so I'm actually going to visually see them on Thursday of next week when we do the final sort of layout of colours and tables and chairs and things like that. So yeah, I just need to get moving on it because it's an 8 to 10 week turnaround, and as the time gets closer to August, it's only 12 weeks to August, so I need to make that decision quite quickly.
As Martin sees design renders and spends more time in the space, he's starting to realise the rhythms it will have by day through to evening. How will he bring the look together? I
think the look of the restaurant's really important to me because I'm going to be there so often, and I think the most puzzling thing for me at the moment has been losing the communal dining, and also having a little holding area at the front so people could have a drink or sit down on a small bar stool while they're waiting for a table to come up, because there's no outside area. I can't put tables and chairs outside on the footpath, unfortunately. And then in the evening, I can also take some produce away from the store section and use the banquettes under the windows in there, which are used for produce during the day, and make that into another seating area so people can wait. Or even if they wanted to have a bowl of noodles or a curry and rice and relish, they could sit there and have that and a glass of wine. Now that I've seen 3D imaging of what it will look like, and even with the changes of the tables and chairs, I've got a proper vision of what it will be like. And then with the styling that I put in there, which I'll style the restaurant or the eatery and the shop myself, and I've been. Oh, we can get into that. I've been also I bought some things in Thailand while I was there, and I've also got things from the cook shed that can go into the styling of ShortGrain. So I can soften it. It seems to be quite hard, the finishes of everything, but then I want it to be durable. I want it to last for a long time. And I'd rather spend the money now than have to turn around in 2 years' time and then replace furniture, replace doors, or replace flooring, or because it wasn't done properly, or as durable as it could be in the first place.
The final plans are yet to be completed, but the bills have started rolling in. Do restaurants ever open without curveballs and surprises?
Well, I'm starting to pay bills now, so that's always surprising. Little hidden costs for council approvals and also for mechanical engineering. That was a huge cost that I didn't sort of see. That's about it was $8,000, and that's to get the plans done for the mechanical engineering for the hoods and exhaust and everything, which is anyway, it's fine. I had to do it, so it's done. And then I'm still waiting for the final bill to be costed because the final plans haven't been done yet because we're still waiting, just still feeling out all the final finishes of everything. So the builder that will be interesting the next time we talk because I'll have the final costings of the build, and I'm hoping that it'll be in my budget, and it should be. It should be.
As word gets out and news gets around, people are sharing their reactions with Martin Boetz. What's the most common refrain?
Oh, you're going to be so busy, Marty. That's come out of everyone's mouth, and that after probably the 10th person said that to me last week. That's when I actually made that decision of changing the seating arrangements from communal dining to individual tables. So that was. I really don't want to disappoint people, and we're not taking bookings. So that is something I think is a bit of a cross in Brisbane and also the communal dining. So I thought, remove one thing at least, and then people will understand. And look, I am, we're all generous and we'll be fully briefed on how it all works at ShortGrain, and if we can accommodate people, great. If not, you can also take away, especially for lunchtime, and go and sit. There's a lovely little park across the street so people can sit in the park and eat their lunch.
It's still a long way from putting curry in bowls, but naturally, Chef Marty is thinking about cooking for his community. What's on his mind as far as menus, wine and experience?
I think people, they know the food that I used to cook at Locke, and they want to taste it again. And also, look, I do strive to go the extra mile for small, detailed stuff and freshness, and especially herb picking and cookery as well. I miss my food, and when I eat it, I think, it's really good. And also being able to put it in into a pack that people can take home and do themselves, or reheat and have the offering of fresh vegetables in the glass cool room, and so you can add that to your curry that has the protein in it already. I think that's something that people I hope will really embrace. And the other thing this week was just finalising stuff for liquor licensing, which also costs a lot of money, and paying for that, and starting to talk to some wine reps, and one in particular, David, who's going to help me curate the wine list, which is going to be not too long, but it will also embrace European wines that go well with Asian food, and Australian wines, of course. I've done a bit of a, it's not a deal really, it's just a great guy, Dave from Delatite Wines in Victoria. We used to use Delatite at Darley Street High years ago, and he has a wonderful Gewürztraminer. And so he's giving me some clean skins of Gewürztraminer and his light Shiraz that I'm going to use as the ShortGrain house wines. So I'm really, really pleased about that I've been able to secure that stock as well. So the wine also, a lot of people have that issue of, what should I drink with Asian food, and everyone says beer, and beer is amazing with Asian food, but also there is some delicious German Rieslings, a little tiny bit on the sweeter side or an acidic side that actually cut into the richness of a lot of Thai food. And that's something that I'll be showcasing at ShortGrain. And so you'll be able to take home recommended wines with dishes that are on sale in the shop. So you really get a good experience when you go home. And it's something that I'm really pleased to be able to offer, because I would love to go into a store and say, okay, this is your green curry of whatever it is, and this German Riesling will go perfectly with this dish. And we'd love you to, buy the whole meal kit and then go home and please tell us about it, because I'm really interested to see what people think and educate as well.
As the days tick away, the timeline starts to tighten. Martin has found a builder that he trusts, and he's keen to get underway.
So at the moment we're at building will start on the 22nd of May, and that is groundwork, and then proper building of the interior will start on the 1st of June. So we basically have all of June and all of July to build the store and get all the groundwork done. And so the builder that I've chosen, Lowry Group, they are building the joint. So he's a great guy, young guy, really clued up, and is super enthusiastic about doing this job for me. So that's a big tick, because I like honesty in everyone, and he seems to want to get this moving quite quickly. So we have about 12 weeks to build from now till the 1st of August, where I'd like to at least be in the kitchen on the 1st of August to be able to start doing some prep work, and also start doing some educational work with the cooks in the kitchen before we open for at least 2 weeks.
Conceiving a restaurant alone can be daunting. What are Martin's strategies for staying on track?
I'm feeling really positive. I do have my moments of doubting myself, but that is just my nature, and I'm obviously doing it solo, so I don't have a business partner, and it's sort of just everything's just running through me. So I've got some really great friends that I can bounce off, so that's been a really big help. And especially when I'm feeling a little bit like overwhelmed, I either go for a walk with my dog or I ring a friend and just say, look, this is what's happening going through my head at the moment. What do you reckon? Because I also don't like too much input from other people, because once I've made a decision, I'm pretty good with it. But there's the table changing. That was a little bit, I did have to ask a few people about that. And also just being able to still visualize the product that I really want to be putting out there to people. And and that's one big thing, I don't want the shop to be looked at as a afterthought. I want that part of of ShortGrain to be as important as the eatery. So that's something that I really need to work on as well, because I haven't I haven't really done a shop before. The only sort of shopkeeping that we did markets when I was at the cook shed, and also we did a lot of home meals during COVID. So that's something that that's why that sort of come in, because I think people really enjoyed that. And if I can still give a package, like a take-home package that you can build yourself with help from me or whoever's working in the shop, I think you'll get a really good product to take home to reheat and say that, and almost feel like you've cooked it yourself.
Restaurants can be wasteful and power-hungry beasts, but Martin Boetz has an eye on sustainability at ShortGrain. One of the main innovations is the use of induction woks.
Well, I'm working with these guys where I'm at the moment to do a fully induction kitchen. So no gas, but we're still working on the wok sort of scenario on that one. B&S, which is a wok building company in Australia, they're bringing out their first induction woks, and it's something that we are talking about putting into my kitchen for people to come and have a look at. And also, I just have to feel comfortable with those because I haven't used an induction wok before, so it's something that that I need to play with before I commit to it. And yeah, so that's sort of one big thing. And then sustainably, look, yeah, I'm a restaurant in the city. Unfortunately, I can't. I'm not going to be able to compost but obviously putting everything into the right containers in the bin room and doing the recycling, that is something that I've always done. But yeah, I mean, if I could compost, that would be great. So, but again, I might be working, farmers that I'm working with, that I'm getting to know, that will be stocking the fruit and veg in the store. They might take some of the green waste away, but it's always something that it needs to be worked on.
Is this the calm before the storm? ShortGrain's opening is coming closer every day, but in some ways it feels like not much is happening.
I just, at the moment, I think I feel like I'm in a bit of a lull at the moment before things really start working and going. And once that's happening, I think I'll have a bit more to chat about because I just feel like I just feel like everything. Yeah, but sometimes things just happen and they happen smoothly, and I've been really fortunate to have the right people around me to make this really work, because it's something that I really only decided to do at the beginning of the year, or towards the end of last year, to actually take this space on, which was a lot bigger than I originally had thought of what I wanted to do in Brisbane. And it's something that look, I really like this space and I feel really comfortable in it. And as I said before, I sat in it for hours, really asking myself the question, is this really what you want to do? And the answer was yes. And I've sat in there again since, and it's almost a bit late now, so I can't really go back on committing to I've committed to what I'm doing, and now I've just got to make it work. It's still a yes. It is still a yes.
Stay with us over the coming months as we follow Martin Boetz and the birth of ShortGrain. Will he stay on budget? Will the curveballs come? And will he be able to stay true to his vision as he gets closer to offering hungry, spice-loving Brisbaneites rice, curry, a glass of wine, and some more curry paste to take home? This is Dirty Linen, and I'm Dani Valent. We air the issues that the hospitality industry finds hard to talk about, hearing from different people with unique perspectives. We want to hear from you as well. If you have something that needs to be said about a topic, get in touch so we can include your perspective. Contact us at dirtylinen@deepintheweeds.com.au or hit us up on Insta at Dirty Linen Podcast. We can't wait to hear from you.